Hello and welcome back to another episode of The Indie Side, the podcast for independent authors and creatives. I'm Ellie Jay, the host of The Indie Side, and today I'm here with E.R Sanchez, an independent author of a debut thriller novel. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is E.R Sanchez, and I wrote the book Tell Them Goodbye. And it's pretty much about it. Just getting ready to write the second one. And just navigating the whole independent publishing thing and just learning as you go,
Yeah.
pretty much.
There's always so much to learn and so much more to take into account than we realise when we get set up. And it's interesting because I know your novel, Tell Them Goodbye, came out in December 2025, but I know you're not totally new to the online writing community and indie author space because you have been around for some time as a book blogger and reviewer under the Fried Potato Press name. So you have a little bit of
Yeah.
experience there as well.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, it's definitely on the friedpotatopress.com is like the blog. And then there was even some blogs about like your first series on there. That
Yeah.
was a really entertaining series. Of the Russian science fiction mafia.
Yeah, I remember that's sort of how we met when you reviewed my books in, gosh, I can't remember when it was now. Probably a while ago. A couple of years at least, I
Yeah,
think.
it could be, especially the first one.
Yeah, it's been out a while now, but it is still one of my favourite books and one of my best selling books, so always nice
Oh,
to
that's
see
cool.
some interaction for it. But having been around all these indie books, not just mine, but lots of brilliant authors that you've reviewed, um, it perhaps seemed like just a natural next step to start writing your own book. So, what helped you to make
Yeah.
that decision, and how did you find the process of sort of transitioning from reviewer to author?
Well, I just kind of did it, because I went to school like for English literature and I got a minor in creative writing and stuff. And I'd been publishing poetry, and I'd had short stories published. And I also did like a novella like many years ago. Well, I just was kind of winging it, and because I don't know, I couldn't find any other way to learn like some publishing stuff. How to like your instinct on publishing and instinct on like what needs a story needs and stuff like that. And so I just kind of did like a sacrificial lamb with like a story that wasn't that like I wrote for somebody like for something else I was doing. I turned it into a novella, and so that was a bit brutal because I left it intentionally like unfinished. And when you put it out there, people look at it as a finished work. They don't care if it's whatever you think about it. And so I learned a lot from that, and then just went on this like odyssey of learning like business and more stuff about writing. And the book blogs just kind of flowed right into that. Uh, because it was just the same thing, like just seeing like other authors that had been a little more that had kind of like done their finished products and gotten reviews and even like yourself, like gotten like the following going and stuff like that, because that's also a part of it, and that's also difficult. So it does take a lot of guts to just throw yourself out there and just start posting stuff and seeing what works. And so it's just this whole like process of putting it all together. And so yeah, and then just trying to like send them out there and meet other authors, kind of using the book blogs to meet people. That's how I said hi to you. I was like, hi,
Yeah,
I wrote a book blog.
yeah,
And
it worked. Here we are.
you're
We're
like,
still
who is this
talking.
person? I don't know.
If it works, it works. The whole like
You're like, who is this person who drop out of nowhere?
Yeah, but if it does the trick, that's what matters. Because the whole like PR and media side of it is kind of a lot of
Yeah,
trial and error, isn't it? It's just throwing stuff out, seeing what
yeah,
sticks.
yeah, exactly. And and then just the journey of trying to find an editor, and because when you go to these companies, they're a lot more expensive than just finding like your own editor.
Yeah.
And again, who knows how they even split it? If they even keep most of the money and give the editor barely anything. I don't know. They won't tell me the split.
I don't
They
know.
don't even tell me the name of the editor.
You don't know where the money's going, really. But yeah, some of this, like all the online
I know.
services and the extras to, you think you're just going to be an author, and then it turns out you've got to do all this extra publishing and social media and get it edited and cover design and all this extra
Oh
stuff.
yeah. So much stuff, like way more than just writing. Like writing is just the beginning part. Just
Writing's the
getting that.
easy bit. It's what comes afterwards that takes all the time and work and money. Writing's the
Yeah, it's
easy
just
part.
like, yeah, it was hard to find an editor that I just like completely like vibed with them, and but luckily I did. Luckily I did like find an editor with a lot of experience in publishing, and they're willing to help me. But it was just I'm just happy to get here to this point, and because the second book is much more streamlined because I already got all these things figured out.
Yeah, it
So
gets
at least
easier as you go
we think
along.
we, at least we think we do. At least we think we have it all figured out.
Yeah, you think so? There
Now,
might be
now I'm trying this.
surprises. There might be
This is
some.
my first time doing this kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's just another branch of, like I said, all the things that indie authors go out and do, all the things we try to make people pay attention to us, get somewhere with the
Yeah, I
books.
mean, even this is the first YouTube thing I've done. So hopefully I'm okay.
I'm sure you will be. I mean, we were making it up as we go along when we started the indie sightings. It wasn't planned. It wasn't a particularly streamlined process, and there are still things that I'm figuring out when it comes to the actual filming and editing of videos. It's just like being an author. There's always
Yeah.
something else to figure out. There's always another thing coming along that you've got to get up and do. But here we are, doing our best.
Yeah. You guys are doing great. I watched some of the videos from your episodes, so pretty good stuff.
I'm glad you're enjoying it. Yeah, we're just trying to show off as many indie authors and creatives as we can because we've got to help each other out. If the rest of the world isn't going to pay attention to us, we have to put ourselves out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, now that we've considered the overall journey of being an author and everything else that goes into it, I'd like to talk a little bit more
Mhm.
about your thriller, Tell 'em Goodbye, because I was lucky enough to receive a free copy, which thank you. It was very helpful and I thoroughly enjoyed reading it.
No,
But there will be people watching the video who don't really know what the book is about. So, did you want to share a little bit about it?
yeah, it's about uh, two teenagers, two messing up, two teenage cousins that that flee from their family ranch after witnessing a murder. That's a murder of their cousin by another cousin, and the murderer is actually forcing them to take over the job of the dead cousin. So instead of taking over the job, they run away, and it just opens up this whole journey of them. And they're also at the same time getting kind of hunted down by the murderer and his crew, because it kind of takes place during the beginning of the when the organized crime era of the cartel started happening.
Yeah.
Because at this time it wasn't like what it is now. Now it's like this mega thing, but back then it was just beginning, and so these people, are from that environment, And so yeah, so this cousin is one of the people moving up in that world. And so, he tried to intimidate these teenagers to take over the job and to basically just be like his minions that grow the marijuana for what he does with it.
Yeah, so it can get quite dark, but there's also the
Yeah.
adventure side and some light-hearted moments with watching what's essentially two dumb kids try and navigate their way through this situation they've found themselves in.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, especially because like they never been off the property, so they live on this ranch on the mountain outside of a village. So even the village to them was a big deal. So when they start running, getting out of there and getting exposed to cities and stuff like that, and just city life, it's just like completely eye opening for them.
Yeah, and trying to make it
So
all the way to America is an interesting journey. So yeah, I highly recommend that people go and check that out and see how that works out for them.
yeah, I mean it's based on true events, so you're getting a very authentic telling of this kind of lifestyle and this kind of this kind of danger, just the way it feels.
Yeah, that kind of leads perfectly on to the next question that I had planned, which was with it being based on true events and yet based in a lifestyle that could be so shocking to many people and quite violent, was it
Yeah.
difficult to use those events and take them and turn them into fiction?
Yeah, because I had to be very careful because like I had an uncle that experienced that. So I didn't want to like put like people's real names and stuff. I couldn't write as a memoir or nonfiction because it just puts it's you have to respect the people in that world, and you have to respect their privacy and what they do, and you don't want to put anybody in danger because there's some family members that do live in that area still. We don't own the ranch anymore, so I can't vouch for people currently. I don't. I'm and also like I state in the book, this is not things that you ask people. Like if there's a idea that they may be involved in that world, you just don't ask
Not something
because
to talk about. There's too many risks involved going
you
down
don't really
that
you
road.
don't really want to know. You don't
No.
really want to yeah, because they might, like I say in the piece, you might owe them something after they tell you the truth.
Yeah, the less you know, the better is a good policy when
Yeah.
you're dealing with anyone in that world or that kind of lifestyle.
Yeah, so I had to make sure to like, make the names as different as possible, and it just kind of like keep that in mind that I'm not some investigative journalist. I'm writing a fiction story based on this so the heart is all there and everything like that, but yeah, it's Arteaga, all that stuff is all they're all real places, and maybe if you go in there now, like it's so small, it's so like it's so different, like not, but in a way too, like the buses don't even stop there anymore. So it's not like a tourist town or anything like that.
That could be the good thing about it. It's a different world now. It's not
Yeah,
as it was, and fiction gives you as well a bit of room to change things without it being a
yeah,
problem, and you can sort of slip things in that are true fairly seamlessly without it being, obvious what you're talking about or who you're talking
yeah,
about.
yeah, exactly. So just kind of stuck with that mentality through it. But in the end, with my editor and everything, we created a story and we created just the way it turned out. It wasn't even that way before. I actually wrote it before as a different novel. So that's why it took me so long from when I contacted you, like because like because I actually completely tore it apart and rewrote the whole thing.
Oh, I didn't know
Um,
that. But yeah, sometimes
yeah.
you have to. It's part of being an author, isn't it? So, what changed? Is it very different to how it was going to be?
Oh yeah, it's much more of a thriller. Before it was kind of like it was clunky. It was like overstuffed with like family stuff, and and I had no plan of creating like a book series, so I kind of stuffed as much as I could in there with
Mm,
family information, background stuff, and whatever. And so it just that was like not the most entertaining way to write it. It's just too much info dumps and things like that. And so like that's the first thing my editor said. Like, you got to ask yourself the question, like, do you want to write a book that people find entertaining, or do you want to write a book that just tells your family history? And if you want to do that, like, you already did it. Like, you don't need to rewrite it. You don't need to rewrite it. But if you don't want to do that, then people that don't know your family can be very bored and just very like, why do I need to know about these obscure cousins, these obscure siblings? Like, just focus on the main characters and let's go.
yeah, it's easy to fall into the line of just spitting all the information out. But I mean, sometimes you need to kind of get it all out of your head first so that you can look at it
Yeah,
and think, well, what do I need? What is actually useful for the story and entertaining,
yeah,
and what can I get rid of? Because that's the joy of editing, isn't it? Figuring out what belongs and what doesn't.
yeah. The biggest key is that, like, the editor, because they they can see it, like a reader, they can see it on that level, where sometimes, like us, when we're writing it, we're too like we're too in the story, and like we understand, we feel like sometimes we feel like everything is important, but really it's not.
Yeah.
And especially when you're writing like about true stuff, like you just have such a deep well of information that
Mm.
you just got to cut out a lot of the stuff that doesn't propel the story or help the story get to where it's going to get.
Yeah, it's
Because that's the more worse than just reading like a boring scene that you just put in there just because you wanted to write it.
that's part of the problem, and it's hard to take a step back, isn't it, and say, well, actually, yeah,
Yeah,
this scene is boring. Because if you wanted to write it and you enjoyed writing it, it's kind of, you want to keep it, but you have to be realistic about. It's what they say in editing, isn't it? The kill your darlings, get rid of the scenes,
yeah,
even if they're not useful. You have to be kind of ruthless, and that's the joy of having someone else edit it for you. So they could do
yeah,
all the hard cuts and the things that you wouldn't perhaps be able to do yourself.
yeah, yeah. And so it was just that whole, I just feel lucky to find an editor like that, because that person really just just helped me really get it going, get it down better, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, good editor can make the world of difference, and I'm sure having a bad editor can make a lot of difference to people's experiences as well. But having a good editor is just really makes or breaks the experience of writing your book and putting it together and what the finished product looks like.
Yeah, this version is way better than the first one.
Yeah,
I'd been carrying it around for a long time. I read Jack Kerouac's On the Road. That's how at first I started writing that story,
mm,
because I took the two guys and put them on the road, but instead of America, it's Mexico, and then their whole epic adventure. But then when I did the interviews with my family members to get just more like to flesh out the story, it was like it just all this stuff came up, and I was like, wow, there's much more story here than I thought.
yeah, you don't realize it's one thing to have like the inspiration, the story that you read and you thought about how you could tell that story, but it's a whole other thing to actually start getting into what you want to say. And I've never done something based on a true story, but I imagine even more so when you're actually there and you get to talk to people, hear what they have to say, because there's so much to go through when you.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
Well, speaking of having so much content to go through and the fact that it then became a series, I know you're currently working on the sequel. So, how is that going? And without too many spoilers, what can readers expect? What kind of time can they expect to maybe see the sequel?
Well, this one is not so heavily oriented around escaping the cartel. The next one is more about like a mother, uh, going through like an epic journey to return to her son.
Mm.
and it's based on a true story. It's not this is not like events. This is just one singular story, and which is a story inspired by me and my mother's story. So it's gonna be pretty brutal to write it, to relive all that. And my editor already warned me
Yeah, it's
about
very personal, isn't it?
yeah, and so we've already broke it down to make it into a story.
Mm.
So that part was the just to kind of reframe it. That's why I'm also reading that I was telling you earlier, the book story by Robert McKee, just because it helps me like take myself out of the story and just look at it as a writer and look at it as just a fiction story of like, which is basically like, I guess you would call it like a domestic thriller or a mommy thriller because the main character is a mom returning to her son, and so yeah, it's just gonna be that, and then the son is actually going through like verbal and physical abuse as he's so the irony is like the mother doesn't even know it's happening. She's just going through this crazy ordeal to return to her son, and so this one takes it's much more like involved with the border and much more involved with that, but because the mother is very much Americanized, and so her baby brother dies and she has to go back to like bury him with her family. And it's kind of like that was kind of like her first child because she was about like 12 years old or so,
Oh,
and her mother was sick, she couldn't take care of him, and so she ended up having to like take the reins and take care of him. And so it was a big deal, and just one of those crises, it was an inciting incident that happens in life,
yeah,
and so it's just like this story about those two, and all the and all like the struggle they're both going through, and how like when you're going through something like that that's so like intense, when these two people reunite, it's like two different people.
yeah. There's a lot to unpack there, and a lot for them to process as
That
characters.
was a bit down. That was a kind of down there.
Yeah, it will be a good story, but it's like all the emotional stuff to go
Oh
through, isn't
god.
it? Just like, wow, where do you start with all of that to unpack? It's a lot to process, and obviously it will be a lot for you to write as well, being close to the subject matter. But it'll be
Yeah.
really intense, so it should come together as a really exciting read for everyone who's been following the series.
Yeah, definitely yeah, definitely it takes place like instead of this the first book was in 1972, and so the next book takes place like in like 80 85, I would think. So we're still in the old days, 1900s.
When you put it
But
like that, it seems like ages ago.
oh. And you see that 19, it feels like forever ago.
It does.
But but uh but anyways, yeah, it's just just getting down to writing it, and so right now I've done all the prep. I have like this mountain of notes I had to go through, and so the story is very much alive in my imagination. So that's why I like reading that thing by story by Robert McKee, because it's just like I read it a long time ago, but I don't think I took it that serious. And I wasn't writing anything or anything. I just someone told me to read it. But I guess I had it in my bookshelf for all these years, and I was thinking I should probably read that. And because it's pretty famous for like because this guy gets really famous. It focuses on like films, but it connects it to like writing like books and stuff. Because in the end, a story is a story. It has to like be entertaining.
Yeah, it's all
You know.
storytelling at the end of the day, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, who knows what's going to happen once the thing starts going and actually get in there and write it. But but that's pretty much that's the plan, right? That's the plan so far. You got me all into it. I want to talk about the whole story. Be like, well, this happens, and then all these things happen, and this big meaning in the end.
Well,
But
I'd love to hear it, but we can't really be giving away spoilers right now. So we'll save it until we've got it written, and then we will
yeah,
share the copy then and everything that's in the story, which it sounds fascinating. So I'm really looking forward to
thanks.
hearing how it comes on. Do you have like a plan for more books after the second one? Like, how big do you think the series is going to be overall?
I plan on doing like five stories. Um, and yeah, after book two, it becomes like more of the son telling the story. Because in book two, it's gonna be like the mom telling the story, and then so in book three and the rest of the books are gonna be the son telling the story, and it kind of all putting it all together, and just this big long saga, of it's kind of like just carries off what happens of book two and how it affects the rest of like these people's lives.
You
So
connected all the dots for
just
the whole family and how it all
yeah,
works out for them. That's interesting.
yeah, and then the whole concept of the third death is just like there's certain select people that unfortunately died during those moments that each book takes place,
Mm.
and so it's kind of a memorial to them, and because in Dia de los Muertos they do like an offering and stuff, so it's kind of like my way of doing an offering instead of the traditional altar. I'd rather just write my story and keep them alive in the story.
Yeah, because they could live on then through the words, and even when it's slightly fictionalized, the character is like an homage to somebody real who you lost. So it's a nice
Yeah,
touch to remember them by.
yeah,
Yeah, I really like that idea of keeping them alive.
yeah. And so the whole thing's based on true stories and stuff. So after that, I'll, I'm gonna just start. I have some more ideas after that are not related to true stories. Um, but so, but yeah, the first book took me like I had to do some imagination in there because I didn't want to like ask too much of anybody in there. So I just some of the parts I had to like fill in. So that's why I also had to do make it fiction.
Yeah, make sure that it was all kept sort of not. I'm trying to think of the right word. It's not censored, but like fictionalized in a way that made sure not to upset anybody or hurt anyone around the delicate topics that are within there.
Yeah, yeah. Plus, just like believability because I don't know anything about life.
I mean, there's so many stories that you could tell there that it's just the
Yeah,
scope is endless. So
yeah. I was thinking just, but aside from that, I mean, just all kind of ideas. I mean, I had this idea to write something like with my aunt about a dog. Like because she likes to rescue dogs and stuff, and has a big heart for dogs. And so she has this amazing story about this dog she rescued, and but it's just like you were saying, like, it's just like the time to do all these things. It's like and the focus and also as a doing it on your own. It's all like investment,
it is.
and it's kind of like you can't do everything,
No,
and
because there's so much involved. Like if you're already trying to market the first book and then write the second book, and then you've got
yeah,
planning and everything. It's finding the time to explore. All the ideas might be there, and I often make a note of all these ideas when I have them. But it can be
yeah.
years later when I actually come back and look at that and decide, oh yeah, actually I do have time to write that story now.
Yeah, and it's I don't know, it's just going through that whole process and just picking like which one you want to focus on. And because there's like some other like singular standalone ideas for novels that are just like you know so but we'll see once you know we'll see where I am once I get done with this series, because they're kind of gauging too if it's, investment wise, if it's worth to keep just plugging away. And so, well, time will tell.
Yeah, time will tell. Because I mean, by the time four more books, it could be a long way down the line. Things could have changed completely. You don't know what will happen between now and then.
Yeah,
So it's seeing where it takes you and what comes next.
maybe AI takes over the whole thing.
Maybe, maybe they keep talking about it. They keep pushing it, but we're still out here writing the normal way, the old-fashioned way.
But it's funny, like, because as soon as, like, one time somebody asked me like what I'm doing, and I told them about this kind of stuff, and they said, "Oh, so you use AI, don't you?" I was going like, for I was like confused for a second, because I was like, for what? Isn't the AI for people that can't like write things down? Like,
Yeah,
because the AI just writes you something, and you still like, but it's very like a lot of people use it for very simple writing, like writing an email.
yeah. I
And
don't understand why people are using it to write novels because why? That's I just don't understand why you would set out to do that because it's good for basic stuff. It might save you a bit of time
yeah,
drafting an email or whatever, but
yeah,
it's not going to be very creative or exciting if you're using it to write a book.
yeah. This person like could swear they're like, "Oh, your editor's got to use AI," and I was thinking, I don't know. I know there's software for editing, but like, I don't know. It's not like they're gonna tell me anyways. Like, they say, "Hey, do you use AI when you edit my work?"
Yeah,
It's none of
hopefully
my
not.
business, really.
Hopefully not. But I mean, that's on the editor if that's what they're doing. And there have been authors who have said when they've been called out for allegedly using AI, "Oh, it wasn't me; it was my editor." But how true is that? Well, we may never know.
Well, I have this program called Pro Writing Aid. It's kind of like Grammarly. I don't
Yeah.
know if you heard of that one.
Mm,
So, but it has like limitations. Like on a longer work, it's just annoying,
yeah.
because
I
I found it only works like I use it for the book blogs.
Mm, yeah, I used to use Grammarly, and then when I moved from writing shorter stuff to writing novels, it was getting so many things wrong that I'm like, I can't be bothered to use
Yeah,
it anymore because it's more a waste of my time going through all the wrong suggestions and rejecting them.
yeah, exactly,
It's not saving me any time anymore. So
exactly. Yeah, that gets really tedious, because it's like, so, and sometimes it messes up like the way it like catches the words. You gotta like refresh constantly, so it's definitely not perfected,
no,
but it's coming along. It's coming. It's I started using it a while ago, so it's better than it was. Uh, but it still has its limitations, and but like for the blogs and things, because for that one I'm kind of just checking like that it makes sense.
mm,
I'm not getting too deep into those, because I've been trying to shorten them down, like getting more, not just talking about everything that I wanted that I saw, So, and just to help me too, like get them done. But kind of slow down on it right now, because as like once you start getting into the process of writing something, you kind of buckle down.
yeah, you get so
And
focused on that nothing else
yeah,
matters anymore. You just gotta get writing. I did that towards the end of my last book because I had writer's block for a while on it, and then
oh
it suddenly clicked, and so I kind of went mad and wrote the ending, the like last half of it in 2 weeks, and it was just like nothing else matters except writing, which didn't work out so well when it came to editing, and I've written things in like a desperate frenzy, and it's completely the wrong word, but we'll fix that afterwards.
yeah, I mean, like those book blogs, I use them also to like train myself, because I just like to, like they always say that you gotta read as much as you have to write. So like reading is so important. So it's just like, because I have to get down like like the young adult thriller thing, because it's, I never wrote like something specifically that way. So, but it was a lot of fun, writing like, action stuff and writing like just things like that, and so it was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
That was a fun. It was a fun process.
it's good practice and it's great fun to just explore things and you figure out what works and what doesn't work with the help of editors. But the actual
Yeah,
exploring of it and just getting it written down can be the best part sometimes.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, just like it just goes on its own. Even like you can, plot or outline as much as you want, but in many ways, once you're writing it, it takes its own path. It's because sometimes like whatever you were planning, it just doesn't work out when you're actually writing it,
No,
and
it
so you
really
just
doesn't.
you just go.
Yeah. Things often go off on a tangent and you just weren't expecting it to. And then there's the rewriting as well, because I've had my own experiences with that. And the third book in the series
Yeah.
that you read, I actually took down for a while, completely rewrote and republished. So that's had a few
Oh, really?
iterations.
Well, yeah, you were telling me when I first like talked to you that the first book was, I think you wrote it after the other two.
Oh yeah, I wrote them completely the wrong way around because I wasn't actually planning it to be a series. So I wrote book 2 first, and then I wrote book 1 as a prequel to book 2 because the story was kind of already there of what happened
Yeah.
before to set off the events of book 2. And then I wrote book 3, so rather than go 1, 2, 3, it goes 2, 1, 3. Which you don't notice reading it, but technically I wrote it the wrong
No.
way round.
Yeah. Whatever works, that's how the story came to you.
Yeah, that's how I figured it out, and that was all a learning curve as well. So, you know,
Yeah.
part of the process, figuring out what works and what doesn't.
Yeah, exactly. It's all a part of the process. I mean, even this whole like marketing thing, I was trying to, figuring that out. So I'm not very good at the posting. So I just been doing like working with a lot with written word media
Yeah, I think
to
that's
do like free
probably
book campaigns and like
yeah.
free Booksy, bargain Booksy. They run that. And then I use Book Doggy too. So it's been going pretty well actually. Surprised,
That's
you
good
know,
because marketing's
because
always the hardest part.
yeah, like I don't know what, they're just really good at it. I don't know what they do exactly, but it works. And so, luckily I found them.
Yeah,
You know,
if it works, it works. Because again, it's another thing that you kind of have to figure out as you go, and for a lot of writers, we never do because your brain's just focused on the writing part, and now you have to try and
yeah,
sell it to people. It's a whole other ball game.
yeah, exactly. You just never know, because you really just never know. I just I was really nervous when I first put that out, because all that work just culminated into that one moment. So I was getting very like, it was. I went through like, do like proofreading and all kind of stuff, and but like in this book I was just telling you about earlier, like I was reading, there's some typos in it, and I was thinking this is such a, it was put out by HarperCollins and it has like a couple typos in there. I was surprised actually. I was like, a book about writing that has typos.
There's
That's
typos
interesting.
everywhere. You're never going to be. One of the things you'll learn when you're doing all the proofreading and editing is you will never ever get rid of them all. But the best way to find a typo is to publish the book, and then you'll see them all afterwards. When you think it's too late, then that's when you find them all.
That's exactly what happened. I thought I found everything, and I didn't even 2 rounds of proofreading to just work my hardest to have no typos. But I guess somehow, some way, this one 2 words that were italicized, that shouldn't have been italicized, and it is italicized. But then I was like, forget it at this point. I mean, if that's my only mistake in there,
You're doing better than a lot
I'm
of
okay.
people. That is a pretty good ratio of mistakes, really. 'Cause,
Yeah, because I that's what I'm saying. I was surprised in this book about writing that had typos in it. So I was thinking like, is someone like very they're like a I don't know. It was just surprising to me. Like, I had to read it like a couple times just to make sure that I wasn't misreading it or something. Maybe I was reading it wrong, but no.
they get
Shout out to Robert McKee. Fix your book, Robert McKee. Fix your.
Nobody is safe from typos. Nobody.
He's supposed to be some big shot professor too, like some genius man that knows all this stuff. Like a lot of the movies he talks about on there, I have no idea. Like, but I know they're famous classics like Casablanca and all these kind of movies, but luckily it gets into a little more modern stuff like Star Wars, but not like the newer ones, like the ones from the 70s and 80s. So, which
Classic.
I don't really, yeah. I watched them later in life, but no, I wasn't conscious. I wasn't alive back then. But at the same time, it's they're famous. The famous story. It's like he was breaking it down, and so it's interesting. But anyways, typos.
Yeah, we've got to
They're
keep
definitely
our
in
eye
there.
on them. They always get through somehow, and they're just the hardest thing to shake off. And it's all part of the joys of editing.
Yeah, just before I I put the book out, like I read. I would say like there was a point where like I wasn't reading books; I was reading thousands of customer reviews, and so we're like 1 stars and 5 stars and all in between, and I always noticed that like the 1 stars, like they really focus on like just like the basic stuff will piss them off and give you a 1 star, like the like just I know I saw like people are pretty forgiving with the typos, but if it's like if it just gets in the way of the read, they get mad,
Some people are
which I understand, because
yeah.
because you're looking to escape, like you're looking to escape and you read a book, and typos take you right out of it. You're like, whoa, wait, what was that? And then it just when it just happens too much, I could imagine it just gets like tedious, and you just feel like if this person didn't take the time to fix all that, why am I going to take the time to read it?
There's a line between a couple of mistakes that everyone makes, and then it being completely unreadable because you just can't get past that. But
Yeah.
some people do take it too seriously. I mean, I once had someone tell me that there was a typo on the front cover of the book. Well, the only things on there were the title and the name, so unless he's saying that I don't know how to spell my own name, I don't know what he was talking about.
You got to work on that. You got to get your name down.
Yeah, gotta start getting that part right. I'm obviously not a very good writer if I keep getting that one wrong.
Now the covers are always so like, the cover's so important. It's like, and just everything is important. Like, but I know the cover is super important.
Yeah.
So, I was always wondering, like, that's one thing with mine. Like right now, mine's up on NetGalley, and they do the vote, the thumbs up, thumbs down vote on your cover. So, and this is my 3rd month doing it. So, like, it was just the first month. It leaned, it was like 16-2, thumbs up, thumbs down. But then the next month, it kind of evened out. It was like, I think 12 to 6 or something like that. So it was gonna. Right now we're at 7-1, but I'm sure it'll change eventually because this goes to like May 6th or something like that. Yeah, just trying everything, Ellie. Just because I'm still like trying to build up reviews because that's as you know that's like one of the most like important things because you can get editorial reviews, but people like those customer reviews.
Yeah, it could be hard to get those as well, especially because, Amazon make it hard for you to leave a review if you haven't spent X amount of money on your account or anything like that. So from a reader's point of view, it can be really
Yeah,
hard to actually do that. But for an author, it's really frustrating when people read it, tell you how much they liked it, and then just never leave a review.
that happened on the first blog I did for you because where like Amazon rejected it because
Yeah, I
I
don't.
was just starting to put reviews on Amazon and I guess I made them mad. I put like a little thing about like it's also on this book blog, blah blah blah. But yeah, and then also it wasn't a verified purchase, so I guess they get weird about that.
I don't
But I
really
noticed after
understand.
verified purchase, it just
I
no,
don't
yeah, but
understand that part sometimes because they're really odd with it as to what counts as well. Because I've had some where I know the person has bought the book
yeah,
through Amazon and it just does not count as a verified purchase.
oh, oh really?
Yeah, I don't understand it
Oh,
really.
that's yeah. As soon as I started doing verified purchases, and also I just kept them very like personal, like my own personal opinion, not like trying to tell somebody else like, oh, this is so good, you're gonna love it. Like just saying, I love it, I liked it. I, and then
Difficult
and
line
then
to
it
walk.
seems to work. It seems to work that way.
It
So
works, but
whatever works. But
sometimes,
luckily,
yeah,
I got that review for. Luckily, I got that review for your book on Goodreads.
yeah,
They're much quicker. They
they
just
are.
right away they put it up.
I don't think they have as many like barriers and things that it has to go through before it gets approved.
Yeah, like Amazon will give you an email saying like they're gonna review it, blah blah blah, and it's gonna they'll let you know if they put it up. But yeah, I was surprised on Goodreads. I hadn't done an author account yet, and so once I wrote the review, just clicked on it. I was expecting the whole like process again, and but it was like right away. So I thought that's pretty cool about Goodreads. So they let you do that.
Yeah, they're very quick.
So
They're a good alternative to Amazon for people who can't get Amazon to let their reviews through, which is always a bonus. So when I get people who say, "Oh, I can't actually review it on Amazon," I'm like, "Use Goodreads, it works."
no, the thing weird about Amazon is like they say like global ratings and global this and that, but they don't take the ones from like the one that you put up on the UK Amazon site.
Yeah, for some reason they don't carry over to the US one, do they?
Yeah, it's weird.
I don't
It's
understand.
weird though. I don't understand why.
Neither do I. But then, if I want to leave a review for people in the US, I would either then have to go and spend $50 on the American site getting things
Uh,
shipped from America to the UK to qualify to review stuff in the US. But the American reviews, if it's a verified purchase, that carries over to the UK site. So I don't understand how that works.
yeah, who knows? Like they got their process, and I don't know their secrets, whatever thing they do. Their secrets to their madness of world domination.
Who knows what's going on with Amazon? Who knows
Jeff Jeff Bezos,
what's he
Jeff
planning?
Bezos. I know, but it is what it is. Though it's I don't know if you use like the Kindle Unlimited with them, but I've been doing that.
Yeah, that could be quite
But
good. I mean, I'm on and off with Kindle Unlimited because while it's in Kindle Unlimited, you can't put it on any other websites. But then
yeah,
sometimes I go back from the other websites to Kindle. It's kind of a balance to see which one's working best at the time.
yeah, I know you're a lot better than that, than I am. I with the novella I put out many years ago. I did it on my own with Amazon, So like I like that I could know like what was happening right away, like with the reads
Mm.
and all that kind of stuff. But I did it through this time. I did it through Book Baby,
Mm.
and so they handle the whole thing. So I don't know like until like a week later what's going on. Like I'll see my ranking change,
Mm.
but I don't really know what's going on.
It
But
keeps you
so
guessing.
I just know it's a good thing.
Yeah.
But I don't know it's a good thing that the thing goes down. I know that's a good thing. That's all I
Mm.
can. But it's just they really simplified it for me.
Well,
But
that's good. It could be a
but
bit.
both have their good and bad though.
Mm.
Because I kind of like doing it on my own. Because like, but there's like a little delay in between those two. Like if I'll set up like the free campaigns or whatever, like they'll approve it and you know stuff like that.
Yeah.
Exciting stuff like that. Exciting stuff like
Well, the exciting part, like the admin.
that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But they're cool. It's but yeah, the Kindle Limited is only there, so but the print book is everywhere else.
Yeah. It's good to try and share it out and see what works and what doesn't, which is another thing about marketing, which is every author's favourite subject.
So you manage like all the different outlets yourself, like the way.
No, so I used to use, until just now, Draft to Digital because they did like about 10 different outlets. They'd put it on Barnes and Nobles and Kobo and all of
Oh,
that. But they've just introduced a policy where they're now going to charge authors to have an account. So I'm removing my books from their site, and I don't know if I'm
uh,
going to list them like directly with Barnes and Nobles or whatever, or if I'm just going to stick to Amazon from now on. So I've got to figure that out still.
that's crazy. I heard it drafted digital, but I'm always like, I don't know. I'm just the technology stuff and the keeping up with everything. It just when I did that novella, it was kind of too much. I
Yeah,
don't know.
it's a
To
lot of
learn a
extra
lot,
hassle. It's a
gotta
lot.
learn a lot.
Well, it does teach you a lot, which is good, but it is a lot of extra stuff to think about. And like we've been saying with the author side of things, we've talked about editing, we've talked about planning, we've talked about marketing, about reviews. There's just so much that goes
Yeah.
into being an author.
What about social media? Because like someone was telling me to get on TikTok and to get on Instagram, but I'm not that great on social media. I just it's going slow. I gotta get some of that Ellie Jay aura. Give it that get my numbers up.
Well, I'm only really that good at uh, Twitter, X. It's changed its name
Yeah.
now, but I've never done TikTok because that's a whole alien world to me. What goes on
Yeah.
there? I'm on Instagram, but it's not really. I don't get on with it very well. I prefer doing like written content
Me
rather
too.
than the
Yeah.
pictures and the visuals and all of, which is ironic because this is a video. But most of the
No,
time,
yeah.
most of the time, I prefer to do it.
No, yeah, I'm in that same category. It's like that's the comfort zone, just writing stuff something. And but I don't know, like on my ex, I'm just always like I don't know what to say, and but I gotta start coming up with stuff, because just to see what happens.
I just
And
keep posting, trying to keep it being seen, and it doesn't matter too much. I try not to overthink what I post, but just keep something coming out so that people remember you exist in the mad algorithm that it is out there.
oh yeah, the way it's crazy. I was like takes over the timeline in like these weird ways that you never even like looked at that kind of stuff, and it's like so just try to retweet author related stuff to get the algorithm to just give me author stuff.
Yeah, you've got to try
'Cause,
and keep reminding it what it is you want to see, otherwise you start getting all the
yeah,
weird.
I don't need to see any more no more Lego videos. I don't know if you've seen those Lego. We don't need to go into like what they're about, but there's always
Yeah,
Lego videos. Oh
I
my
get lot.
god.
I get lots of adverts for AI programs and products and apps if I'm not careful.
But I always think it's funny how you expose the scammers because they are like they're relentless.
They are. There
I
are
mean, just
so. It's
now
just
they found my email.
yeah. You'll get like I get about 5 or 6 scam emails a day, and they do mostly go to my scam folder. But there's just so many targeting indie authors that are just like, I'll review your book, or I'll market your book, or you could be part of my book club, but for X amount of money.
I love the ones that want to make a movie. I'm like, oh, I saw it. It's gonna be a movie. I'm like, wow, it's amazing. Oh wow.
Yeah.
I was like, sure.
The guy from Netflix
I'm sure that's
emailed
how it
me from
works.
his Gmail account.
And that's some like obscure Gmail account, but he's saying he's the guy from Netflix. It's always I don't even know how they find like the email that I had, or they found like the email from my website. I don't even know how that would took some I don't know, some genius techniques that they have because I literally never use it.
I don't
But
know. Who knows what they're doing?
they have their ways, their magical ways.
They do. They turn up everywhere, every platform, every inbox. They find the way to find it.
So TikTok is not for you, huh?
No, I don't really get TikTok, and I'm not much of a video or technology kind of person, so I wouldn't know where to start with that kind of thing.
Yeah, me either. I don't know. I just like when they're making videos and stuff. It seems complicated, but who knows? Maybe it's. I just know that like well for those book blogs and things like that, it could help out more if I get that going
Yeah.
because like they got like a lot of what they call it book talk and book discovery on there.
Oh, Book Talk seems to have a lot of clout, but I've always been
Oh
nervous
yeah,
to try because I'm alright making videos on my laptop, making videos like this, but
yeah.
start me with a phone and I will be completely useless.
You gotta get that ring thing.
The ring light in the background and the whole influencer setup.
Yeah, I mean it's just I guess it's just a part of the thing, you know. If you wanna, I don't know what the ring light actually does, but I'm guessing it makes you look better than regular light. You
I'm
know.
assuming so. I don't know about all of that, but there you go. Influencers. That's another topic that we've covered. And if anyone can explain what a ring light is for, feel free to comment and let us know.
I'm sure Google AI will be like, "What is the importance of the ring light?" And they'll give you the whole breakdown.
Probably like a whole list of reasons that it's pulled from all over the internet that may or may not be true, like you usually get with the AI Google results.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah,
So
we've covered a lot there. So we've covered everything from AI and ring lights to book reviews and things like that. But it is sort of getting towards the end of the episode now. So is there anything
yeah.
before we do round it off that you would like to mention? Any shout outs, anything we haven't discussed that you really wanted to share?
No. I think we covered a lot. Um, I guess just if I think I already gave you the link before, but just a link to friedpotatopress.com. and go there, and it would really be awesome for people to sign up to the email list and just find out the next thing's coming up, and so you find out first when the next book comes out, and just any updates and book blogs that I'll be doing, and and who knows, maybe I'll get up on there on TikTok and I'll be like, hey, come visit my TikTok, come visit my Bookstagram. I'm gonna go blog about everybody's book because yeah, I heard that thing is pretty cool for that, but like you said, you gotta start learning the whole process of making the videos and getting the whole look down and everything like that. So
Yeah, there's a lot to
so hope
learn.
I mean I just probably wing it.
Mm.
I don't know,
Figure out what
but we'll
works.
see. Because sometimes maybe not all of them is good to go for. But you just never know. So you're okay with Instagram?
Yeah, sort
Start
of.
there.
I have my Instagram out there, but it's questionable how well I do. I'm not one of the big Bookstagram influencers, but I'm out there. I keep putting it out, and I will put stuff in the description for the video as well. So your links, your social media, your book links, your Fried
Okay.
Potato Press. I'll probably put my links in there as well, just if anyone wants to come and find us on any other platform, see what we're doing, see if we've turned
Yeah.
into book talk influencers yet, or whether we're whether we're still out here doing the same stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. But yeah, I don't. I think that's about it. I don't have much. Drawing a blank. It's probably something I'm forgetting that I should be saying. But just yeah, just the links are important, and of course to check out Tell Them Goodbye. And just put up some your own customer reviews and stuff like that, and that's about it.
Yeah.
um Anything else that you can think of?
There's nothing I could think of, but like I said, the book link will be there as well. Hopefully, everyone will go and check it out. I will post a snapshot of the review that I made as well because I read it, I enjoyed it, so hopefully other people will. But there's nothing else that I can think of to say. So thank you very much for coming on the indie side, and it's been a pleasure talking to you.